Everybody, it's me, LisaT, coming at you with some positive energy. Reading The Language of Letting Go by Beattie. Oh, I need to get my specs. I'm coming back. I'm right here. Here I am. Didn't take me long. Okay, so we are reading. I'm interested to see what tonight's reading is because today was like a really in-between day. Like I felt calm and peaceful, and like I was doing good, doing self-love and taking care of myself and staying in my own lane. But then I had a couple of little moments that like wanted to pull me into my old self, you know, and what I mean by that is that couple of moments that I could sense, I'm like, oh, this is how I used to deal with this situation. I could see that I wanted to almost deal with it the way I used to think about it or deal with it or whatever. And then I was able to like reel it back in. So doing these readings is super helpful, and they always parallel what I'm going through. So let's see what this is all about. So what I noticed today, that I was being pulled in an old direction, but then I was able to like stand back in my truth, stand back in my self-love power, in my empowerment, stand back in the lane that keeps me sane. In the lane that keeps me sane. Okay, so January 19th, owning our power. There is one feeling we need to pay particular attention to in recovery: feeling victimized. Maybe that's what I was feeling today. Maybe that's what I only knew playing the victim. I only learned that in the last few years, that I've played the victim a lot in my life. And when you're playing a victim, it means that you're like thinking like, why did this happen to me? Or, oh God, it's woe is me. Woe is me is basically playing the victim. Like, they hurt me, or they do this to me, or that this never works out for me, or wham wham. It's a little bit of a pity party kind of, and it keeps you in fear that the world is out to get you, or in some way. That's being a victim. That the world, people in the world are out to get you. When they're not, and that's just there's no self-love in that, and there's no power in that. We can stand in our power. So but it can sometimes, I think the reason I did that so often was it was like a comfort zone for me. So maybe that's why it pulls us back in, because it's an old familiar place. So maybe that's what was happening to me today. So anyways, there's one feeling we need to pay particular attention to in recovery: feeling victimized. We do not need to become comfortable with that feeling. We do not need to become comfortable with that feeling. How do we feel when we're being victimized? Helpless, rageful, powerless, frustrated. Feeling victimized is dangerous. Often it can prompt us into addictive or other compulsive behaviors. For me, when I'm feeling a little bit helpless, a little bit powerless, or frustrated, the compulsive behavior is I get into my head, and I get like this compulsion to just like try and fix it and try and figure it out, and maybe I need to do this, and then like this speedy dialogue, which gives me massive amounts of anxiety, of course, because it's just this like hamster wheel spinning with no end. So yeah, it doesn't feel good, and it's a compulsive behavior, and it gets me stuck, and it keeps me from living in the moment and experiencing the joy and the happiness that's right here. So feeling victimized is dangerous. Often it can prompt us into addictive or other compulsive behaviors. In recovery, we're learning to identify when we're feeling victimized. Oh, so that was what today. And now in recovery, I'm learning, oh, that's victimized feeling that I was feeling today. In recovery, we're learning to identify when we're feeling victimized, when we are actually being victimized, and why we're feeling victimized. We're learning to own our power, to take care of ourselves, and to remove ourselves as victims. Remove ourselves as victims. Okay. So you can remove yourself as a victim mentally if you're actually being victimized, if actually someone is bullying you, or if actually someone is crossing a boundary. Then you're an adult. We're adults now, and we can actually say, you know what, I don't have to stand here. I don't have to be in this situation. We don't have to like attack anybody or tell anyone they're doing something wrong or they're doing something bad. We just simply set a boundary and not put ourselves in that thing anymore. But in the mind too, watch where you're feeling victimized in your mind, because then you can remove yourself from that. You can actually, what I've been doing is saying like, no, I got to take this thought out. I got to take that thought out of my brain. I'm asking higher powers to remove that kind of thinking. And then I think about something else. I literally I'm practicing, okay, now focus on your friend Carly, Lisa, focus on this person. Like, who can I be helpful today? How can I bring myself back into my day? So I actually asked higher powers to remove that victimized thinking, that helplessness thinking, that, oh, woe is me thinking. And then I start thinking about something else. It's been working. Okay. So we're learning to own our power, to take care of ourselves, and to remove ourselves as victims. Sometimes owning our power means we realize we are victimizing ourselves, like I just said, and others are not doing anything to hurt us. They are living their lives, and they have a right to. And we are feeling victimized because we're attempting to control. That's it. When my mind starts to, I'm attempting a semblance of control, and it's not. There's nothing. It's a facade. So we can let others live their lives. Sometimes owning our power means we realize we are victimizing ourselves and others are not doing anything to hurt us. They are living their lives and they have a right to, and we are feeling victimized because we're attempting to control the process, or we're unreasonably expecting them to take care of us. We may feel victimized if we get stuck in a codependent belief such as, other people make me feel, others hold the key to my happiness and destiny, or I can't be happy unless others behave in a particular way. That's how I was feeling like when I got that super anger. It's because I was thinking, I'm not going to be happy unless she does this and he does that. And that's delusional thinking. It's not real. So when we have this kinds of thinking, other people make us feel this way. So that person makes me feel sad. That person makes me feel bad about myself. That's you got to check that thinking. You got to check it out the door. Others hold the key to my happiness, or I can't be happy unless others behave in a particular way, or I can't be happy unless this thing takes place. If that happens, then I'll be happy. If this happens, then I'll be happy. You're fighting a losing battle if you're thinking that way. You're making yourself a victim of the world, and you're not owning your power. Okay, other times, owning our power means we realize that we are being victimized by another's behavior. Our boundaries are being invaded. In that case, we figure out what we need to do to take care of ourselves to stop the victimization. Like I was just saying, we can remove ourselves now from a situation. We need to set boundaries. This is just about boundary setting, a lot of boundary setting. Sometimes a change of attitude is all that's required. We are not victims. Just change your attitude. Just check your thinking. An attitude of gratitude will help. Like the previous reading I did, gratitude. If we start focusing, so it's what your mind is focusing on that moment, what you're shining a light on. So if you're shining a light on, oh, I'm always being this, or they're always saying this to me, they make me feel that. If you're shining a light on it, then it's going to get bright. But if you can shine a light on your gratitude, things you're grateful for, you're going to shift your thinking, shift your attitude. Once you shift your thinking, you shift how you're feeling. We can't have a feeling with that doesn't a thought precedes a feeling. A thought. You always have a thought and then you have a feeling. Sometimes a change in attitude is all that's required. We are not victims. We strive to have compassion for the person who victimized us, but understand that compassion often comes later, after we've removed ourselves. So if you're feeling victimized by someone or someone's crossing your boundary, you can't just automatically have compassion for them. First remove yourself, then have compassion. After we have removed ourselves as victims, in body, mind, and spirit. So you get compassion, it will come later, after you've removed yourselves from the situation in body, mind, and spirit. We also understand that too much compassion can put us right back into victim slot. Too much compassion can put you into people pleasing, I think. Too much pity for a person who is victimizing us may set us up for a situation where the person can victimize us again. So we don't go into like feeling sorry for them and now we got to people please them, but you just have a mature sense of compassion, a boundaried compassion for them. We try not to force consequences or crises upon another person, but we also do not rescue that person from logical consequences of his or her behavior. If there is a part that is our responsibility to play in delivering those consequences, we do our part. Not to control or punish, but to be responsible for ourselves and to others. That whole blurb, I don't know. I'm not vibing with that one too much. So I guess it's trying to say, like, if you're being victimized, if you're actually being victimized by someone, if someone's actually like bullying you or actually like yelling at you or doing something that's crossing a boundary, where the goal is to end up having compassion for them. The goal is to set a boundary and remove ourselves, and eventually, after we've removed ourselves, body, mind, and spirit, to gain compassion for them. Also, but then we don't need to tell them that they've done something wrong. We don't need to like set consequences for them. We don't force consequences on them. But there could be logical consequences depending on how much this person is crossing a boundary. I guess that's all it's talking about. There could actually be like real consequences. Okay, so we try to figure out what we may be doing that is causing us to feel victimized. What we're doing that's causing us to feel victimized. What am I doing that's causing me to feel, well, maybe I'm putting myself in a bad situation. Maybe I'm letting someone cross a boundary of mine. Like, what am I doing? Taking responsibility for ourselves. This is all about taking responsibility for ourselves. So we try to figure out what we may be doing that is causing us to feel victimized, or what part we're playing in the system, and we stop doing that. We are powerless over others and their behavior, but we can own our power to remove ourselves as victims. Yes. Today, here's your prayer for today. Today, I will take responsibility for myself and show it to others by not allowing myself to be victimized. I cannot control outcomes, but I can control my attitude towards being victimized. I am not a victim. I do not deserve to be victimized. Amen. Hi, Clark. Thanks for watching, buddy. Everybody, thanks for watching. I love you so much, and we'll see you on the flip side.